Hello, everyone. I am so excited today. I welcome you to Lunchtime with Leona. Our guest today is going to be Lou Ali. Yay! Let's give Lou a
Yeah.
hand. And she is a little bit new to you all because of the fact that she's into podcasting, which she's going to tell us a little bit about as well.
Yeah.
And she also has a blog that's called Earrings Off. And we're going to have to talk about that. And
Yeah.
so she's going to share with us some inspiration that is going to help us as far as thinking about living your best life. I think that's something that all of us, no matter what age we are, we always want to either live it now or we want to have it later. So
Mhm.
those are going to be some of the things that we're going to talk about.
Mhm.
Also, before we get into it, we are being sponsored today again by Vasal, who has sponsored my lunch bag, and I've got my lunch in my bag. And also, today I have something new. I have a little lunch box that arrived in the mail to be used in my lunch box. So I can't wait to show you
Yeah.
all what all goes in this little lunch box. I couldn't use it today because I didn't have a chance to clean it up. But we're going to be talking about that little lunchbox, and I'm going to be actually using it. We're going to be packing it. We're going to do all those kind of things. And for those of you who are in the studio, I am Leona Dooley. And if you're new to my channel, Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, I hope that you will stop and that you will join the family because absolutely we are a growing family, and it's all about the kitchen and the conversation and all the things that we like to do in that kitchen. And also, don't forget to tap the like button. Hey, Barbara, and give me a thumbs up if you will. And I thank you for your support and your presence here during lunch because lunchtime is always a lot of fun. So while you're in the studio, please take the time to say hello to each other, share what you're having for lunch. And if you're like me, I'm cheating, so I'm gonna show Miss Ali.
Aww.
I've got her earrings off cup today. Mm-mm.
Well, thank you.
And I have a delicious tea that is in there that is going to be down in the description box that I think you'll like. And so, without further ado, we're going to jump in today because we got a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Lou knows a lot. So I'm looking forward to her sharing all of
Well,
these good things with you.
Lou knows a lot. I don't know how helpful it is, but
Oh,
anyway,
it's
I
going to be
do I
good.
do know a lot actually.
Absolutely. So, Lou, I
well,
don't know if you can see down at the bottom. I've
uh,
got, for those
oh,
of
thank
you,
you.
yeah, I've got
Thank
her website going, and I'm going to keep that up throughout the program. I want
well,
to make
thank you.
sure that everyone knows who is with us today. So I am turning it over to Lou Ali of Earrings Off.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leona, for the warm welcome. And I'm excited to be here. And of course, I want to at least give a shout out to my partner and co host, Teresa, who couldn't be with us today. She's the other host of Earrings Off.
Yes.
So, again, thanks for having me. I'm seeing my website scrolling. I tell you the truth, the world needs more friends like you because you've been supportive to Earrings Off. And so, again, I'm happy to be here and be supportive of Ebony, Ivy, and Time as well. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank
hmm
you.
Yeah.
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 Well, Lou, I am hoping that you're going to share with us today. Most of the ladies and gentlemen who come into this site
Mhm.
are are like we have been over the years. We're trying to improve our body situations.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
us have health concerns, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we're just
Yeah.
trying to get to a better place. So,
Yeah.
what are
Yeah.
you doing to
Well, you know, that you're right. Particularly as you age, we are trying to make sure that we maintain our quality of our quality of life and our health. So that's always been a big thing to me. And I tell people I I'm a big advocate of exercise. You know, that's my thing. Making sure that people understand that you don't have to be overwhelmed with the thought of it, particularly as you age. We don't want to try and go out there at this point and try to run a marathon if that's not something that we've ever done before. Although there are people our age and older who are running marathons and winning marathons, and they have the senior circuit. But the main thing is to find something, even if you just take a walk outside, just to make sure that we continue to move our bodies and find something you enjoy. So that's a big part of it. The piece that I struggle with, and you know, you and I talk about, is the nutritional piece. I can hear what to do and I can read about it, but that's always been a challenge in terms of making sure that I make changes in my lifestyle to accommodate better nutritional habits. For example, my husband learned, I think it was last week, we've been doing the coconut milk in our coffee. And then he read some article and talked to some health nut like him to find out that coconut milk wasn't really a good choice. And so he sent me the article about it and talked to me about it. And I tell you, that day, the next day, he was done. No more coconut milk. That cut it off just like that. And now this is about 2 weeks later, and I still have coconut milk every day. And I told him, as a matter of fact, when I was doing it this morning, I said to him, that's one thing I admire about you. I wish I could do that. I wish I could learn something was bad for me and just immediately cut it off. I don't have that kind of personality, but so that's something that challenges me. But also, I learn as I get older to extend a bit of grace to myself. That okay, that's not me. But sometimes we think so much about what we're not doing, we forget to apply the stuff that we are doing. And so as I get older, I'm making sure that I not only see negatives, but I see positives because you know, I want to enjoy myself. And I told him this morning when he was getting his coffee with nothing in it, and I was getting mine with the coconut milk. I told him, I said, yeah, you're living, but are you really living? Are you really?
That's a good question.
So that's how I justify it.
I hear you. I like that. I like that. That is so true.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about earrings off, and then we'll come back to the health part.
Okay. Well, earrings off, you know, we launched in September 2019. And Teresa and I, you know, Teresa is like you, she's into the cooking and the health stuff. And that's her thing. And we've been talking about, you know, her passion for that. And of course, mine is, and I'm tell people, you can see me, even though I don't look like it, I'm into exercise. I like to move. I do different forms of it. That's one thing that I've been blessed with is that I actually enjoy it. And so she and I talked about trying to do something to provide information to the community on how to age well, how to take care of yourself. And of course, because if you listen to Teresa, you might not ever eat anything or drink anything. And so she and we thought we have a good balance that, you know, she can provide the information and I can also just talk about how realistically we can try to do better. So Earrings Off was launched in September 2019. The tagline for Earrings Off is conversations to empower women and the men who celebrate them, because we are not about male bashing on Earrings Off. We love men, and we welcome them into our audience. Earrings Off is a vehicle to provide information to the community to improve lives. We've been fortunate enough that we have any number of people who are willing to come on the show and talk to us. We have, I think now we've done like maybe 130 episodes thus far. And
Good.
they've all been shows with, we've had people come on, talk about heart health, talk about how to buy your first home. We've had people share with us. A woman shared about being raped and her recovery from that. So we run the gamut of conversations, and it's just, I tell people so many times we take for granted that what you might know, Leona, that I might know, that I should know, and oftentimes we can't make that assumption. And one thing that, there are a lot of positives and negatives with social media, of course.
Mhm.
But one of the things that I think has been lost is that years ago, we had an opportunity to sit with our elders more, to hear from them, for them to provide information. And I know a lot of people, as we age, they sort of run from that title. I embrace it. I
Mhm.
pray and hope that I've learned, I have some experiences, some successes and failures that I can share that will hopefully, empower people. And so
Mhm.
that's the goal. That's to find resources and share those resources with the community,
Mhm.
and see, and you do with it what you will. We just interviewed someone Saturday, a medical doctor who is a colon cancer survivor. And so that show will be coming up soon. And she also, as I said, she's OBGYN, and she pulled out of the job market to homeschool her 5 children who all went to Ivy League schools. Those are
Wow.
stories I want to hear about. And I not
Absolutely.
only want to hear about them for me, I want the community to hear about that.
Mhm.
So that's what we do on Earrings Off. We sort of bug everybody we know. You've been instrumental in sharing with us as well, and so we try to tap into information that can help people say, I didn't think about that, or that's something I can use. And certainly the podcast is audio, but we also do the blog. And
Mhm.
so that's written format, of course, so that people can have something to return to. So that's what we do at Earrings Off. And we come out every Sunday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just to let our audience know, it is a stitch, especially the blog. And they're so funny. And it's really neat. I went back and reread a few before today. And I wanted to, some of them you just have to sit and giggle because they're honest. These ladies are honest. They tell you,
Yeah.
if now I have to admit, one person is very serious about her
You
health.
can
And
say
this
who
one
that
I
is.
love.
It's
Teresa is.
Teresa.
Yeah.
Teresa's
Oh my gosh.
always serious.
She is so serious about her health. And I mean,
She is.
she doesn't play, and
She
she will
doesn't.
point finger at you in a
No,
minute
no, no.
if
She's
you aren't
serious.
doing it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But we're laughing in love. But the reality of it is that when we talk about it, I see Ronnie was saying that she had her lunch wasn't healthy, but that was what her husband wanted. So okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
And for those who were on with me Saturday, I was fixing Black Forest brownies and salmon dip. We were having a good time on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And so, maybe not so healthy, but I have to admit, I only ate a little bit, and I've only had one brownie, and I took the rest to the another house for the football game. But we I think we all need to I see Louise is saying she likes to walk. She was saying, let me put this up. Louise, I'm gonna share this. She said today was probably not the best for walking. And she said it's 3 degrees.
Mm.
And there's even a wind chill warning for as low as a negative 35 degrees. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
needless to say, I wouldn't be outside walking. No. In
Yeah.
fact, I walk when it's 70.
No, I get out there. I'm with Louise. I get out there. I layer it on. I look like a snowman. I've got all kinds of stuff on, but
I
I'm
bet
getting
you
it
do.
done.
I bet
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah,
You got to protect yourself. But
yeah.
we're all, and we laugh about this. We're all learning and trying, and some days are good days, and some days aren't.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I know now, Lou, you are very good at going to the gym, and you're walking. Of course, I know we had a moment in time where we kind of hit freeze a little bit of our
Yeah,
going
oh
out,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
won't talk about that. We're not
yeah,
going to talk
yeah,
about that one,
yeah.
but we had to be careful in where we went,
Oh yeah.
and for our own sake. But that didn't stop you. That didn't
No,
stop you. So
no.
what did? Hey, I see my work from home wife from Atlanta. She's a sweetheart, but and she is like you. She's
Mhm,
like you. She walks every day,
mhm, mhm.
and
It's
in
good
fact,
stuff.
she's cute. She's got a little Friday thing that she does on YouTube, and she takes us walking with her. Or if she's
Oh yeah, that's
exercising
good stuff. Yeah,
inside,
yeah,
then we get to exercise with her. But
yeah.
girlfriend is dressed to the hilt. She doesn't play, and it's cute. But we want to. My thought in planning, for the channel is to look at because I like the old school way of cooking. I like to get down and
Oh
you
yeah.
like the old school way of eating too. But we
Yeah,
had to learn that we can't do that every day.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's it's hard. It's
yeah.
hard to make changes.
Well, it is, but when you talked about the pandemic, because certainly at the start of this, I was like everybody else. I wasn't going anywhere or doing
Mhm.
anything. But what I already knew about is a resource that I've used for years that I want to make sure everybody knows about. If you've got cable TV,
Mhm.
it's already in your subscription. If
Mhm.
you do a search on exercise, when I tell you there are all kinds of videos that pop up.
That's true.
And for years, I've been using that. If the weather was bad or if my
Mhm.
schedule didn't allow me to go somewhere, let's
Mhm.
face it, it was just a day I didn't feel like going anywhere.
Right.
But what I could do was put my sneakers on and stay in the house. And
Mhm.
so you can always find a YouTube video or look at exercise TV.
Mhm.
Again, I have to believe it's in your subscription because I've been with probably 3 or 4 different cable networks, and it's
Mhm.
always there. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can walk inside, you can walk for
Mhm.
10 minutes, 15 minutes, 45, an hour. They got boot
Mhm.
camps, you can do yoga, they have everything there. And
Absolutely.
so what I did during the pandemic was just do that at home. And
Mhm.
actually, before the pandemic, I really wasn't a walker outside, but I found out I enjoyed being out in the sunshine and getting
Mhm.
fresh air. So, that's something because the reality is when people talk about getting older, we often talk and we get fixated on the finances in
Mhm.
retirement and making
Mhm.
sure we have enough money. But it is so much bigger than
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Health really is the new wealth. It's everything.
Mhm.
If you don't feel well,
Mhm.
then what good is it for you to have a healthy bank account? You can't do anything with it. You don't
Right.
feel well enough to go out and enjoy it. So we want to make sure that we're trying to at least move, do something.
Mhm.
Like I said, you don't have to do anything major, but it's just critical. I find it for me, for my joints, I stiffen up if I don't
Mhm.
move. I can really feel it. So and that's what we try to make sure that we
Yeah.
let people know. And I don't have to compare myself to anybody else, you
Mhm.
know. the fact that you can put in more miles than me, or you're more comfortable with a different exercise. It's not about that. And I would hope at a certain point in our lives that we get beyond comparing ourselves to what
Absolutely.
somebody else is doing. It's
Mhm,
you listen to your body. And if your
mhm.
body is saying you can do 2.0 on the treadmill, but then you know what? You're moving. That's what you do. If your body
Absolutely.
is saying you can only do 10 minutes, do that and
Mhm,
start
mhm.
there. So I think that's a big part of it. Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. You
Yeah.
know, it's hard to um, just to think about the group that I know comes into our show. And we have a real mixture. We have from
Mm-hmm,
young to
mm-hmm,
old, like
mm-hmm.
us, or like me anyway. I can't
No,
say it
us.
because
Yeah,
you're a
it's
little
us.
younger than I am.
No, it's us.
But
Yeah.
you know, all of us need to be very attentive to our health. And one of the things for February coming up, the plan is to try to encourage all of us to do things that improve our health along the way, and
Yeah.
certainly to get us started.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know, working from home, some of the ladies I know are working from home, and um, I think some people have found challenges in working from home in that
Oh
they
yeah.
haven't been able to work that routine out. Maybe where when they were working, they could leave work, go straight to the gym,
Yeah. Right.
or
Right.
you
Right.
know, start to exercise. And now you get so caught up because you're already at home and you get
Right.
caught up
Right.
in what's going on. It's
Right.
hard to
It
get
is.
out.
Yeah, it is.
And
Yeah,
and
it is. But you know, Leona, what they're saying, of course, is that now more than ever, it's important that we do make sure that we're eating well and
Mhm.
exercising, because there with this pandemic, it has just done such a number on us,
Absolutely.
and emotionally and
Hmm.
mentally. And so
Hmm.
it's just constantly fighting against that so that
Hmm.
we can stay healthy. So yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
We have, as a nation, we've just been through so much, and
That's true.
we're not done. So
No.
it's just been a lot. And so we just have to push ourselves
Mhm.
a bit more, to do what
Well,
we
I'm
need to
going to
do.
bring one thing off, Lou. I'm sorry to cut in. I didn't
No,
want to forget this. Sleep is critical. And
it
I know we
is.
have personally been talking about sleep,
Yeah,
our
yeah,
lack of it.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
about you all who are listening and watching. Uh, Sleep is a big issue.
Well,
And
yeah.
as we go into February into the Heart Association, that is one of the key things
Oh, it
that's
is.
major. You know, yes, they want
Well,
you to improve your eating and exercise, but
well,
you
yeah.
have to sleep.
Well, you know what? And you're right. And then, Leona, as we get older, those hormones get off,
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that can impact us,
Hmm.
particularly as we age. And you're right. I had a period where I was having problems with sleeping, and
Hmm.
I could not figure out what was going on. And as a matter of fact, I shared, I think in a blog or a podcast, that Teresa, the health nut, was behind me sort of paying more attention to it, because I kept saying, I'm not able to sleep. And it was really impacting me. And,
Uh-huh.
her thing was, Lou, you have to take charge of your own life. We applaud doctors, we believe in them and all of that. But at the end of the day, the doctor's sleeping at night and you're not. So you need to sit down and journal and figure out what's going on with your body. And so I was able to investigate a bit, and I found out that a medication that I was on and had been on for years with no problem, it it eventually built up to the point where it was causing me sleep problems. And I found it on a blog on, people were saying, I've been on that 5 years. Well, I've been on it for 8 years, no problem. And so when I shared that with my doctor, she was like, what? I don't think that's it. I said, this is what I'm saying. And I thought to myself, well, Teresa's right. The doctor's sleeping, but I'm going to try something. I asked her, I said, can you at least try something different? When I got switched, I immediately started sleeping. And that was immediately. Yeah. So there are a lot of things working against us as we age. Like, for example, years ago, I could have an iced tea any time of the day and it was fine. Now I can't drink any iced tea after maybe 1 o'clock, 2 at the most, because otherwise I won't sleep. So you're right. I mean, sleep is critical because it can cause so many other problems when we're not sleeping. So yeah, we just got to make sure we get a handle on that.
I know. There's just so many things.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I tell you, aging is not for the faint of heart. I'm just going to tell you.
No, it's not. Well, actually, let's just say living is not for the faint of heart.
Right, because, they can glorify and say, well, 60 is the new 40. Yeah, all of that, whatever. But the reality is you have to work hard, not only at your lifestyle, but your health to maintain it. Yeah.
That's true. That's so true.
Yeah.
And thinking about, I'm looking at a few that are talking about the sleeping. I know I've shared with you, Lou. I haven't shared with them. When I was teaching, probably the last 10 years, it was nothing for me to have only 4 hours of sleep. And I was living every day on 4 hours or less of sleep.
That's
because the mind just wouldn't shut down
right
in order to really rest peacefully. And my doctor, in talking with her, she really thinks that had a lot to do with some of the health things that I'm seeing now. Because I worked for so long on so little sleep, that is very possible that the lack of sleep has set up a stressful situation in the body that has caused some of the problems that I have now. And that's something for those of you who are young. And I know some of you out there have little ones, and you're trying to make sure that they have plenty of rest and, of course, eat well and all those good things. But then mom, dad, you all need to eat and sleep and exercise as well.
Well, and you know what, Leona, the thing with me, and I know when I think about what I intentionally did now, it's just, I can't believe it was just not a smart thing. But when I worked, some of my positions were so demanding that during the day, it was like I was either in a meeting or somebody was talking to me constantly. It was just, it was nothing for me to come in and people be outside my door waiting for me to get there because there was something that needed to be addressed. And so you didn't even get a chance to sort of put your case down and get settled without addressing things. And one way I developed a coping with that was my only time free was I would get up in the middle of the night just so I could have an hour to myself to just sort of relax, read. And I did this intentionally. And now when I think about what I did, it was like, what was I thinking that was a good idea? Because that's a habit that I that's something I practiced that I did for maybe 4 years or more. And so now, years later, my body sometimes will wake up because I know it's like, but you don't have to do that anymore. You can rest whenever you want, and so we have to be careful of sort of some practices, particularly as moms, that we we insert into our routine just to survive. But maybe it's better that we constantly question, is this a good thing or is this a negative, that I
Mhm.
am making adjustments? I'm making this type of adjustment. Is this going to work for me or against me
Mhm.
in the long run? So yeah. Hmm.
I found this little saying that said, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. And
Yeah, it's
that
true.
is so true. So that
Yeah.
says to us that if we really want to improve our health and our situation, then we've got to try to make some changes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know you've been a real promoter of the fact that the change doesn't have to be major,
Mm-mm, it
that the
doesn't. It
change can
doesn't.
be very small.
Hmm.
And I know I talked with a lady maybe about a month ago. And during the pandemic, she used to walk 2 miles every day. And she
Hmm.
had a path here in the neighborhood that she
Hmm.
walked all the time. And when the pandemic struck, she and her husband decided they weren't going to do that, that they would stay in because they met too many people,
Hmm.
no
Hmm.
mask, no whatever.
Right.
And so they were a little concerned because they're a little older than I am. And so she said what she started to do was to walk in her house.
That's what. Yeah, I do.
And she kind of worked out a path in her
Hmm.
house, and she would walk for an hour every
Hmm.
day in the
Hmm.
house. And
Yeah.
she said she knew how funny that sounded, but she lost 25 pounds.
Let me tell. That's not my story. You don't have to shame me on here, okay? But anyway, I was with you with the walking. Didn't lose a pound, but I was doing it. I mean, I do that. I do. I
Yeah.
I have, and I have a few favorites that I routinely go to. But
Hmm.
yeah, you can walk, and you don't need a whole lot of space.
Nope.
You can do it right in your house.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you have
So,
to. You
we got
find,
to make it.
yeah, you find whatever works for you. And during this pandemic, when it was so scary, we didn't
Hmm.
know what was happening,
Hmm.
all the people dying. I found a 5-minute meditation,
Hmm.
online, and I would do that every day. And it's nothing but breathing, but that's good for blood pressure. That's
Hmm.
good for stress. And I was just trying to find something that would help me get through this where I could, just sort of survive all the
Hmm.
chaos. And so, yeah, yeah, you
Well,
do
I know
that.
that the doctor was saying when I went in the other day that we were talking about breathing. And
Mhm.
because now we got mask and the whole to do, and she was telling
Yeah,
me my mask wasn't heavy enough that I needed to go to another mask, and I said,
yeah.
but I'm not going to be able to breathe. And so she said what she started to do was when she had an opportunity, didn't need the mask on because being around so many people, of course she's in an awkward position,
Right,
but
right.
she started a breathing technique. And what it would do was it lowered her stress. She
Hmm.
said in a month,
It will.
she
It
could
will.
feel the difference.
Hmm. It
And she
will.
said, what literally, it took 5 minutes to do. And
Hmm.
she would just deep breathe, hold it as long as she could, and then
Hmm.
blow it out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And she would do that about 10 minutes. And she said what she found was that she felt better, she slept better, and her body processed. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Her
right,
body
right, right,
processed
right,
better.
right,
And
right.
I'm looking at her. I said, "You mean deep breathing's going to help with the body
Yeah,
processing?" She said,
yeah.
"You'd be amazed."
But it's true. And when people used to say stuff like that to me,
Mhm.
you'd hear it and it was like, yeah, right. But I tell you, I'm a yogi and
Mhm.
that stuff works. It
Yes.
really does. And one thing when I was diagnosed, with high blood pressure,
Mhm.
because before I was actually um, placed on a medication, my doctor told me, well, Miss Ali, your blood pressure, and if you lose weight, but this is concerning. I must have heard that for about 5 years. I didn't do one thing
Mm-hmm.
because back then my mind was, well, you just put me on medication like they do everybody else. I did not see how serious that was. And now
Mm-hmm.
my thinking has totally shifted that no, 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 no. I don't want to go on any medication. What can I do to help my body heal? And what can I do to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I maintain health? My first response is never, and my doctor knows it. She says, well, I know you're not going to take anything. No, I
Mm-hmm.
respect you, but let me see what I can do, what changes I can make
Mm-hmm.
before we go that route. Because Leona, you and I both, and we've talked about this, sometimes when you get on these medications, you can't get off. And
Exactly.
so what and I'm not saying, of course, don't take medications, that is not what I'm saying at all.
Mm-mm.
And I go to my doctor, I follow their
Mm-hmm.
recommendations, but I'm blessed with being able to process information, to research
Mm-hmm.
information, to
Mm-hmm.
ferret out resources. And I want to know, what am I doing that is placing my health at risk? And
Exactly.
so if I'm doing something that is compromising my health, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, well, there may be something I can do then to
Mm-hmm.
correct that. And so I want
Yeah.
to start there. So yeah, yeah.
I think too, what has changed for me has been time, having time,
Yes, Leona is so
because
true.
we
Yeah,
knew years
that's right.
ago
That's right.
some things that we really needed to do.
Right. But you're
And,
right. That's
but
a
our
big one.
schedules were such that
Yeah.
we just didn't have time. I didn't have
Leona,
time to think about it.
that's
I
so
was
true.
old.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
trying to survive and you're trying
Exactly.
to manage
Exactly.
all of your different roles as wife, mom, professional, member of the community.
Hmm.
It's a lot. You're right. Yeah. That time is a luxury. It really is now. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a lady the other day. I'm looking at a couple who are talking about they're walking inside. Centric has talked about she's now walking inside for
Mhm.
15
It's
minutes,
good.
which is, hey, that
Yeah.
you're doing what you need to do, and that's
Yeah.
a good thing. And Kim is saying that she's walking inside as well.
Hmm.
And Louise said that's going to be her new plan, is that
It's
because
true.
she was in that area with the 35 degrees below zero.
Yeah.
And needless to say, that is not where I want to be
Hmm.
walking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
certainly we can walk inside of our house. And so um, I think one thing, is taking the time. And that's something we just don't realize, especially when we have little ones. We're so focused on them and what they
Mhm.
need and the whole to do. So often moms get lost in the
Well,
shuffle.
we do. We get lost, but some of that, I think, Leona, is just cultural. I mean,
Mhm.
just as women in American society, we bought into it's selfish for
Mhm.
us to think about ourselves first, that we
Mhm.
have to make sure the home is good, the hubby's fine, the kids are okay,
Mhm.
and then whatever is left over,
Mhm.
then we can have. And
Mhm.
it took a while for me to get it through my head that
Mhm.
no, that's really that if my cup is empty, I can't pour into you. I can't help you. Just like
Mhm.
we all know, and we've talked about, on the when you're on a flight and they tell you, no, you put your oxygen mask on first
First. Mhm.
before you try to help your kids or anybody. Take care of yourself. And so
Mhm.
it was so hard for me to get to
Mhm.
the point where I could accept that no, it's okay for me to, to work out, to carve
Mhm.
some time out. It's okay for me to have lunch with a friend because, I just need to vent and talk to somebody that understands what I'm dealing with right now. And it required that I be very intentional about
Mhm.
that. And it is
Mhm.
it's such a shift in thinking
Mhm.
from, at least
Mhm.
from the way I was raised. You know, I can't speak
Mhm.
for everybody, but
Mhm.
I know that was a hard thing. Yeah.
It is, and it was. In fact, I don't think I really made that change until after the kids were out of the house,
Yeah.
and they were out on their own.
Yeah.
One thing you haven't talked about is Bikram. Tell everybody about
Oh
Bikram
yeah,
yoga.
yeah,
I see
yeah.
Patricia does yoga every day.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
She'll be interested in this, Patricia.
Okay.
You'll have to
Yeah.
listen to this part.
Well, you know that Bikram, or now they call it hot yoga because there was a
Hmm.
scandal with the
Oh,
founder.
that's
But
right.
anyway,
That's right.
so yeah, hot yoga is that really. Well, Leona, I think you introduced me to hot
I
yoga.
did. I
You
love
introduced
it.
me to hot yoga.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You were the one telling me about it. I never heard anything about it. But you know how something is just clicked with you for whatever reason.
Hmm.
And when I tell you hot yoga is the thing I love, it just
Hmm.
is.
It's
Now, it's
addictive.
hard. It's hard.
Yes.
And I don't want to make it sound like I know what I'm doing. I can do the poses. Let me put that disclaimer out there. No. But the good thing about it is that you do what you can do. I
That's
don't have to be able to do what somebody else on the next mat is doing.
right.
I just do what my body can do. And I do hot yoga a minimum of twice a week, usually 3 times a week. And
Mhm.
yeah, I do it usually about 3 times a week. And it's 90 minutes. It's the same routine. And I think that's what speaks to me is
Mhm.
that I know what I'm signing up for. You know,
Mhm.
I don't have to go in and wonder what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. And, you know, the room is about, it's like a sauna. It's hot.
Yeah. What is it? About
And
100,
it's about 103.
125.
Well, I think it's like 103, 105 or something.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like a sauna when you're in
Yeah.
there. And I tell people when I started hot yoga, I would just go once and then I would barely survive it. And then I
Mhm.
might go back 3 weeks later and I barely survived it. Then I'd go a month later. And then one morning one day when I went to hot yoga class, the lady at the front, the teacher, she said to me, she said, well, you know, it's always going to be hard the way you're doing it. And I was
Mhm.
like, well, the way I'm doing is because I'm trying to survive because it's crazy to do this.
Mhm.
She said, no, it's always going to be hard because you have to commit to this for
Mhm.
you to get over the hump.
Mhm.
And so I thought about what she said. And so I went home and went online and just signed up for a membership. And I said,
Mhm.
okay, Leona, you know how cheap I am, how I am about money. Once I put my money out there, I said,
You
now
going?
I don't waste money. So if I pay this money, I'm going to this hot yoga. I don't
Yeah.
care if I go in there and I stay on the mat the whole 90
That's
minutes.
right.
I don't care what happens. You're going in the
Mhm.
room because you paid your
Mhm.
money. And so that's what I did. And I've probably been doing hot yoga now, probably 8 or 9 years.
Oh
And
yeah.
I do hot yoga challenges where I'll do 30 days in a row. And I did this when
You've
I was
done that?
oh, I've done it about 4 times, 4 or 5 times.
Well,
I've done hot.
Kim did
Yeah,
that. My daughter.
I've done it probably a minimum of 4 times. I do 30 days in a row. I don't miss a class. I don't miss a day of hot yoga. I put it up on the board with everybody. My name's up there, and you know, I do it. But for me, it's just been it's been life changing because it
Mhm.
helps me with my stress level. When I hear other
Mhm.
people say, you know, they've got a condition and this is going on, I
Mhm.
absolutely believe hot yoga has allowed me to maintain my health, even at the level that it is presently,
Mhm.
because I work at it. And
Mhm.
you know, when I go for my annual, my doctor will say, no, I can see, you know, I can tell you're not lying, that you're doing
Mhm.
this stuff that you say you're doing. But hot yoga is a chance for me just to breathe. It's just
It is.
meditation. And the
Mhm.
way I had to make myself go, honestly, I would go online and look at videos to make myself go. and it would be videos of people talking about the benefits. And I would just saturate and brainwash myself to saying, you don't have a problem popping a pill every day. You want the easy way out, and you don't have a problem with that. And that's a toxin. It's one that I need to live, but it's a toxin. But you don't want to do the hard work, which is natural, which is going in a room and just breathing and stretching. And then I had to switch to thinking, you're getting all worked up because you're going in this room. Honestly, it's just stretching. That's all it is. People will make you think that hot yoga is this big. It is just stretching. Believe me, I'm not doing anything amazing in that room other than bending over, touching my toes, putting my hands over my head. I'm lifting my leg up in different poses. But it's like what we did when we were children, where we would stretch in the morning at school or something. That's all it is. And that's so true. You don't have to be intimidated by it when you think about that. And also, like what I said, what I love about it, I don't have to do what anybody else is doing. I'm listening to my body. I went in, and this hadn't happened to me in a while, but a few months ago, I went in and that was a hard class. I had eaten something. Bikram will tell you when you've been bad in terms of your diet.
Oh yeah.
And I was bad. I mean, I had a ball out the night before, I had a good meal, and yeah, Bikram didn't like that. Hot yoga didn't like it the next day at all. It did not like what I did the night before. And so when I went into the class, I was on the mat. A good part of it, but it was okay. I thought to myself, I'm not going to be embarrassed. If I don't feel well, I'm going to the mat. And that's what I did. Yeah. And after my teacher said, she said, Lou, are you okay? No, she asked me, she came by me. She said, you okay? I told her, I'm fine. I shouldn't have eaten and drank what I did last night, but I'm all right. Hot yoga will teach you that. But when that, hot yoga for me, for whatever reason, I think it's that I do the same pose and I realize it's nothing other than stretching. I'm not running a marathon. I'm just going in and breathing and stretching and trying to get my body to maintain its mobility as I age so that I can continue to walk, so that I can run if I need to, whatever my body needs to stay healthy. And so for me, it has been the thing that I love the most. It really is. And I believe it has provided me with the best benefits. And I do it. If I travel, the first thing I do, I'm finding out where's the yoga studio so that I can make sure that I go at least once while I'm there. And when I go somewhere, I'm signing up, but people will make you believe that something is so hard. You shouldn't, and some people say, well, you're a Christian and you do yoga and that's mind control. No. You do whatever you want to take from it, that you take from it, but there's good and bad in all things.
That's right.
But for me, I am determined for my health to try to find what works for me. And it is hot. It is hot. But the thing is, like I said, I didn't have any problem with popping a pill. I don't, and we have got to move beyond thinking that the first thing should be popping a pill. We need to think about that. And I'm not saying don't do it, but think about what can I do to help my body heal? There's something happening inside my body, and there is a way that I can hopefully address this. And when I tell you, if I can do hot yoga, and Leona, if I can do hot yoga, anybody can do hot yoga. Believe me.
If I can do hot,
everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. You can do it. And hot yoga heals you. It
It
does.
does. It
It does.
does.
It does.
If you don't do anything but go in there and sit on the mat or
Exactly.
lay on the mat,
Yeah, it's
it's
like being in a sauna.
healing.
It's
It
like being in a
is.
sauna, and it heals. And the thing is, as we get older, we need to be mindful of what we are doing in our bodies. And I talk to my nieces, my nephews. I say, don't make the mistakes I made. You got that cute little body now. Don't think it's going to always be like that unless you make some wise choices.
That's right.
And so this is what I've learned. But
Mhm.
even now, make sure you move your body. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I know it is hard, and I can think back to uh, turning 40. Seems like so long ago.
I know. And then when we were 40, it was like that was a big deal. Oh my God, where I would
Oh
no,
my
I don't want to go
God,
back.
when I
No, I
turned
don't want to go back.
40,
I'm good.
it was like the light came
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
warning.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I had, body was great,
I
everything was
know. I
good,
know.
I didn't have to worry about
And you take
anything.
it for granted, right? Because I think now if I had known that I was going to gain weight, I'm pretty sure I would have been wearing some other things that I chose not to wear because I was a bit too concerned. But that's okay.
That's okay.
Trust me, I wore enough.
Yes. My mom used to always say when I was young, yeah, and she'd say, "Well, oh, you should wear that now while you're young." And she said, "Don't wait until you get
I
old and
know,
try to
right?
squeeze into
I
that."
know.
And that's
But
so true.
it's true.
We
But
should
you
have
know what?
enjoyed that. I
But
did.
Leona, you and I talked though about how blessed we are because a large part of this too, and of course you know this because you and I have talked about this. It's the choices we make in terms of our relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and I make sure, like I said, on the Resolve, we don't bash men or any of that. But what it really is about is being authentic to make sure we speak up for ourselves, that we don't
Mm-hmm.
sweep things under the rug,
That's
that
right.
we try to be in good relationships, not only with our partners, with our children, that because as we get older, those relationships become even more precious to us, and you and
Absolutely.
I talked about that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I I was watching. I watch YouTube myself, and there was this old lady. She was so cute. Now I'm going to say this, and I'm only saying this because nobody knows who she was, but she appeared to be probably about 10 years older than I am.
Okay.
And but let me tell you, girlfriend was cooking in the kitchen, and the whole time she was cooking in the kitchen, she was in motion. She was either dancing or she was stepping.
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, I got my Fitbit on, and I'm gonna get
Yeah.
my steps in." And
That's
she
what you
said,
do.
"And dinner's gonna be so good." And she was just having a good time in the
well,
kitchen.
well,
Well,
that's funny.
whatever you got to
Well,
do.
that's funny because I do like I said, I have some YouTube walking people that I really just love. Leslie Sistone, I think, is
Oh
one,
yeah.
Sandstone. And so she has great videos. But after I finish her, I turn on, blast from the past, disco
Mhm,
music and all of that. I'm
mhm.
dancing. Well, last week I ordered a Bluetooth, a speaker, and my husband didn't know it was coming. He said, "What's that?" I said, "I got a speaker." He was like, "Oh my goodness." He was like, "Oh my goodness." So it's going to get even worse in here. I said, "That's right. I'm
That's
going to
right.
really be having a good time."
That's right.
Because you
The
know what?
party is
Turn
over
on,
here.
turn on some music. Just do a little dance, whatever works for you. So, but
Absolutely.
it's important. And you're right, Leona, when you said earlier that we can't be hard on ourselves because
Mhm.
earlier we didn't have the time And, even when you say, I'm going to take the time to put myself, it's just hard when you've got the demands of family. But when you get some free time, then life can really be so rich. I mean, it just can. And I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about rich in experiences. When we talked about being 40, yeah, wonderful, thankful for it, but I would not trade this point in my life for anything. I wouldn't take that. I'm having a blast right about now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you want to tell everybody some of the stuff that you have picked up recently? I mean, the list just keeps going.
They're gonna know you got a crazy friend. But I tell you,
but I want to do it too.
This is the thing I picked up that I also love. Growing up, my mom didn't have money for me to go and take piano lessons or anything like that. So I was just thinking about, okay, now that I have this time, what is it that I've always wanted to do and didn't have time to do? And it just really hit me. It was like, well, you like music, why don't you learn to play the piano? And so I just thought, piano lessons? So I found a used keyboard, one that was in my budget. Leona, you know how I am about money. I said, okay. And I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I found a teacher. And I go once a week. I go every Friday. And when I started lessons, he said, some adults come in and they have unrealistic expectations. They want to play in a concert. They want to be this. I said, no, that's not me. All I want to be able to do is I just want to play for me so I can sing at home. So he said, is that all? I said, I don't have big ambitions. I just want to play. And so my sister, she said, when I told my family I was taking lessons, she said, what are you doing that for? I said, I'm going to play the meanest row your boat you have ever heard. And when I tell you the piano, I love it. I love it. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite things. I can't play. My piano teacher is not happy with the progress. I have to, let him know I'm doing my best. He's a very nice man, but I can see the frustration on his face. But I will not be deterred. I am continuing on. And so I love it. And sometimes when I tell my husband, I'm going to play the piano, he says, can you close the door on your way out? He said, can you just close the door on your way out? But you know what? That's all right. He's a hater.
That's as bad as when I got a piano for Kim when she wanted to learn how to play.
Yeah.
I played that piano more than she did. She's taking a lesson. I'm looking over her shoulders and I'm going, oh, I can do that. I'm just practicing up a storm. And Conway said, now, who's supposed to be taking piano lessons?
But you know what?
Well,
Leona, you and I talk about really, we have to keep our brain engaged.
Yeah.
And the only way, we don't really force ourselves to work that muscle, to work the brain by doing what we do every day that we're comfortable with doing. So it is important that we shake it up, make our brain work some so that we can ward off dementia, Alzheimer's.
Right.
We only, I remember Oprah Winfrey saying one time something like, with all her money, there was something only she could do for herself. I'm the only one that can exercise this body. I'm the only one that can try to maintain my health. I don't care how much money you have, but there are some things only we can take responsibility for. So I get in there and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna lie, that piano is hard to me. That is not something that's easy.
It is.
I'm telling you,
coordination.
My teacher's looking at me like, I know we just went over this, and I'm like, I'm really trying. I'm doing the best I can. But and I have a sister. She works those word puzzles all the time, and whatever it is, find something that makes you uncomfortable, and force yourself to commit some time to learning it. And that's
Even
all I'm doing. That's what
5
I'm doing.
minutes,
Yeah, do
you
something.
know? Mhm.
Sit down, work a puzzle, or do something, learn a new word, just whatever it takes to force ourselves, because that dementia and that stuff is real.
It is
And
real.
so we got to
And there's
do
so
what
many
we can.
people.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's
I'm out here trying to do new things. I know, my family is a little concerned about me. They're watching me, but I will not be deterred. I am going to do these
mhm.
things. And so if you hear somebody having a concert with row, row, row your boat on the repertoire, that's me. But
Well,
that's
I'm gonna be over
okay.
here jamming with you. We're gonna be jamming, and we'll have to have a piano
but
duet.
But yes, and Leona, with your lovely voice. But Leona, you do something new with what you're doing. This is something new that you've had to learn. I am
Yes,
amazed how you have learned this platform.
I tell you, it has been it started off as just something fun, but then it kind of became a job, and
Right.
now it's going back to the fun because I've been able to work out a lot of the bugs,
But
and
Leona, you learned this on your own.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, see
Now I
that,
have
yeah.
to admit, I have a mentor. She was on last week, Denise,
Yeah,
and
okay.
she's been great. I can
Okay.
call her up and say, I got this isn't working.
Oh, that's
What do I
good.
need to do?
That's
And
good.
she'll help me through if it's something she knows. And if not, she knows somebody to ask.
Okay.
And so I'll do that. But it's finding the things you like.
Yeah.
And I have come to the conclusion that at this age, whatever it takes for me to do the things I enjoy, then that's what I'm going to do. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm not at this point, because I used to not do this, to put on the glasses. I went for 10 years needing to put on glasses
Are
and
you serious?
refused because I just didn't want anybody to know I had to have glasses. See, that's kind of vain I am. I'm being honest, y'all. I'm being honest. I'm
Really?
vain. I went for longer than that and wasn't hearing well. But
Mhm.
you know what? I got AIDS for
And,
that too at this
and
point.
see,
So,
well,
we do what we have to
we do.
do in
Yeah.
order to have the best quality of life that we can possibly have.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing else,
Yeah.
when you're living your best life, it involves so many different directions and so many different things. And all
That's
the
true.
things that at 40 that we were so afraid we didn't want anybody to know that we needed, get it.
Yeah.
Because think of all the years that I
That's true.
blew
That's
where I
true.
really could have been enjoying some
Yeah.
some things
Yeah.
and just didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
just
Teresa and I laugh about, in terms of us, and you too, Leona, I'm the Oscar of the group. That I just sort of let her hang out there. I wrote the blog about the chin hairs, and so
Mhm.
I've always been that person. So that to me, it's like, really, I've been wearing glasses since I was in third grade.
I wore them in third grade too, and as soon as I hit high school,
You
off they went.
No, I just sort of let it all hang out there. That's just me, but
I had the book up like this.
really. Well, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. But what
Yep.
you're saying is important. Now it's about your quality of life and
Mhm.
enjoying yourself, and so whatever that means. So that's good
I
stuff.
know. Well, Lou, let me tell you, this has been so much fun, so
Well, it
much
has been.
fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I hope everyone else, looks like they have truly enjoyed our giggles and our conversation. And, I hope that, as you think about this tonight, uh, and you're thinking back on what went on today, that certainly Lou Ali will come to your mind. And if you have a moment, you're going to want to go to earringsoff.com, because I'm telling you, you think if she was funny today, you go to Earrings Off because she's a hoot. And now Teresa's, they're funny because Teresa's very, very She can be funny,
Yeah.
but she's not a throw down, fall over, laugh kind of person. She's a little more serious and a little more reserved. That didn't happen to Lou and I. That's just not
No,
there.
no, we have a ball.
We're out there. And so, but it has certainly been fun having you
Well,
on today. And
thank
I
you. I had a
hope that
ball.
we've been able to help some others to know that it's okay. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to make changes, whether people think you look funny or not. You
Mhm.
know, we can't depend on everybody else.
That's right.
We've got to do what we need to do for ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's okay to treat yourself well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, this is what I'm doing. I love being with you. I love being able to share. Oh my goodness. Guys, I have to stop. I have to tell you, this is someone very special.
Uh,
She's recuperating from last night's. Y'all know Saturday, I had my Buffalo shirt. I was ready to go. Let's go, Buffalo. And Buffalo got to the
oh,
end of the
oh
game
God, that was terrible.
and
That was
fell
terrible.
apart.
It was
And
terrible.
so I'm having a moment of quiet today for Buffalo. And I'm sure Charlene's doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
it is just so good to have all of you here at lunch. And I hope that each lunch period that we are able to come together, that we're able to talk about things that are really critical to all of us, but also talk about those things that bring us joy and laughter,
Yeah. Yeah.
because laughter is better than any vitamin, any bottle of
That's
medicine
so
that
true.
you could possibly take.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to be able to find that giggle every day.
Yeah.
And Lou, I promised you that I'd stay at an hour, and I promised our followers that we would be 1 hour, because after all, we have to get back to work, whatever that is. And so today is a blessed day. And whether it's -5 or whether it's 55, or in some cases, housewife of Atlanta, she's probably looking at 65, 70. But we are thankful to be here. And
Mhm.
so, again, Lou, thank you.
Thank you for
And
having me.
for being here today with us and for sharing with us. So
Mm.
I'm looking forward to next week.
All
I've
right.
got other things planned, and we're going to have a great time at lunch. Oh, no, Patricia. She says she's sick in the bed today, but she says she feels better now. And
Oh,
Charlene says certainly laughter is good for the soul. And it
yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
So God bless each of you. And I look forward to seeing you here, right here in the kitchen for lunchtime with Leona. And I'll see you soon.
All right.
Mwah.
Take good care.
Take care.